Well, let's get a little bit more on the wider issues here with Dr. André Ilbawi, who's technical lead for cancer control at the World Health Organization. Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Ilbawi, for joining us. The global scientific community has, of course, come a very long way in both identifying and treating and preventing cancer. So why are cases set to rise so sharply by 2050, 75%?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Paul. The biggest driver of the increase in cancer cases is, in fact, increases in life expectancy. So this is the good news portion of the cancer burden, which is as people live longer, the likelihood of them developing cancer also increases. Now, that does not mean it's all good news. There are also cancer risk factors that we continue to see increasing, or at the worst, increasing quickly. Common risk factors that are at the fore include factors like tobacco, alcohol, obesity, and emerging risk factors like air pollution. So this is the cause of the increase in the cancer burden. People living longer, but also, in many situations, people not living healthier.
Mm-hmm. And what are the most common and deadliest forms of cancer? And what patterns are you seeing development in the kinds of cancer, the types of cancer, showing up in different populations? I was reading this week about the rise in bowel cancer in younger people, for example.
You're exactly right. If we were to start with the biggest and deadliest form of cancer, lung cancer is the one to focus on. It's now reemerged as the most common cancer overall, and as it pertains to its deadliness, it in fact has very low survival. With lung cancer, we do still focus heavily on prevention. Because of this, we know tobacco, again, including secondhand smoke, is responsible for driving the high and increasing rates of lung cancer, but also, as mentioned earlier, factors like air pollution. Colorectal cancer, you're absolutely right, is increasing in many demographics, young and old, men and women, and in countries across the world. Some of this is dietary, obesity, multiple factors contributing to colorectal cancer, and this is something for us to keep a very close eye on. There are reasons to be somewhat optimistic in the overall landscape of cancer in the past few decades, and also reflected in the numbers we saw just this past week, is that infectious-related cancers are decreasing in their overall frequency. And this is a reflection of a variety of interventions, including factors like vaccination. Cervical cancer is continuing to stabilize, which is good news, as we work towards the elimination of cervical cancer, one of the priorities for the World Health Organization. But other infection-related cancers that had previously been in the top tier are also stabilizing. Examples here, gastric cancer and liver cancer, again, to be addressed through vaccination or through programs like water sanitation.
So some real reasons to be hopeful. Do you think governments are spending what they should be on cancer research?
Yeah, this is a very difficult question. The investing in cancer research is very asymmetrical. Many high-income countries are making that necessary investment. We also see quite a lot of innovation happening in the private sector. But there is, again, this imbalance as to who has access to cancer innovation and also who has access to cancer clinical trials. And many of the countries most in need for different ways of working, better products, more accessible products, particularly those in Africa and in Southeast Asia and in Latin America. We don't see investments in cancer research or clinical trials available as we do in so many high-income countries. If we don't make those investments, it's difficult to say that the innovation we see in some high-income countries will ultimately trickle down and benefit communities around the world.
Dr. André Ilbawi from the World Health Organization, great to get your thoughts today on this World Cancer Day. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Thanks for having me on.